Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another video. You're watching All the Beer No Idea. I'm Baz. As you can tell from the title of this video, this is regarding the Perfect Draft, the Philips Perfect Draft medallions and the new Perfect Draft Pro. Now, if you have been in the past or are currently a Philips Perfect Draft owner, you'll know that you can get the medallions for these machines, like so. And basically, you just end up pimping up your machine a little bit. You know, you can have a decurse in your machine, and you can have that on the tap handle, and it all looks very professional and it all looks very nice. Now, they cost about £4 each. By the time you add your postage, they're about £4 each. You might get them cheaper if you bought in bulk. But with the release of the new Philips, not the Philips Perfect Draft, just the Perfect Draft Pro, the magnets are all very different. And basically, there we go. They're pretty much flat on the front. You've got a big chunky magnet on the back. They're the original ones. The new ones are pretty much like almost like a contact lens, if you like. And they've got a little steel dot on the back, which isn't actually a magnet. Because on the new Perfect Draft Pro, the magnetic parts are actually on the tap handle on the top and on the front. So you need something steel to stick to them. Hence the reason they got steel dots. So if you spent a lot of money on these, probably if you're a Perfect Draft owner or were a Perfect Draft owner, there's a good chance that you've got lots of these sitting around doing nothing. You're trying to sell, maybe even giving away. Now let me just show you. I was a big collector of them, so as you can see from my hand, you see all them little magnetic bloody tool things there. It's full up with medallions for the Perfect Draft. I have actually sold 5 or 6 as well. So they're surplus to requirement, and that's not something you want really when you've spent that much. I think I've had in the region of about 60 of them. So work that out at about £3 to £4 a shot. That's a lot of money. 200 to 300 quid if you like, for what you've spent on them. So I've kind of looked at this and thought, how can we get use out of them? Can we get use out of them? Can they be salvaged, if you like, rather than just either sold cheap or given away or have no use? So I've looked into this, and it looks like I've come up with a little bit of a solution that you can still use them. Granted, they will not work on top of the new Perfect Draft Pro handle, but you can always keep the things that you get with the Perfect Draft to sit on top and just have the main medallion sitting on the front. But ultimately, you know, I don't suppose there's many people out there that have 2 of the same one that they can actually put on top or the front. So like I say, these can always just stay sitting on top, and by the time you've done your modification that I'm about to show you, you can put these on the front. So quickly, what I'm going to do is show you what these look like if you put them on the front of the machine now, how far they stick out. So I'm just going to pause the video, we'll get the camera over there and I'll start it again, and hopefully you'll be able to see it, and then we'll come back and carry on. So let's get and do that. So here we are. They don't actually sit very well on there either, but as you can see, they stand out like a sore thumb and they don't actually sit straight. So really, although you can put them on there, they look a bit shit. So let's pause the video again and we'll go back and tell you the rest. As you can see there, they don't sit very nicely. They don't look very good. Obviously these sit nice and flush and look so much better on it, but they're a bit dull. And no doubt in time, these will be coming out and they'll be branded to every bloody beer you can buy. But if, like I say, you're like me and you've bought all these medallions, it seems a shame to just either sell them cheap or lose money or throw them in the bin. So I've sort of come up with a solution, if you like, to actually make the most out of them and use them. So what I've done is basically look for some steel dots on the internet with a sticky side and decided to modify the old medallions. Now I'll go back to this one again. As you can see, it's like a plastic badge. You've got a white layer in between the front and the magnet, which is basically a sticky pad, and the magnets on the back there. Now this one is one I've modified. So all I've done is taken the badge part off, if you like, from the magnet. I've scraped all the sticky pad off, and I've got one of these metal discs that sits on the back, just sticks on there. And what I will do now quickly is just show you how this sits on the front of the machine. So I'm going to pause the video again. We'll show you how it sits on there. You'll see that it's a much better fit and looks much tidier than that. And then we'll come back and we'll go through everything I've done. So as you can see, I'll turn that there. No doubt you can see the medallion on the front. Looks tidy there. If I move the camera around, there isn't an awful lot sticking out. And I do apologise if you all think, oh, this is very unprofessional. You don't, you know, your camera work is awful. But as you can see there, that's very inoffensive. Doesn't really stand out too much. It sits flush. It doesn't move anywhere like the other one. The magnetic thing, it never sat dead right in the centre. But as I show you again, that's sitting on the front and looks tidy. So I'm going to pause the video yet again. And then so as I was saying, which I paused it before I finished, we're going to go back. So we're back now. They're what the new ones, hang on. They're what the new ones like. They're what the old ones like. And this is what I'm aiming to get the old ones to look like. So they will sit nice and flush and you actually get more use out of them. So let's get cracking on what we need to do. First of all, what you need to do is you need to pick up some of these steel dots. Now one side is just plain steel, the other side is got a bit of paper on it, and that you take that off and that will be sticky, which enables you to stick it to the back of your old medallions like that. But before you get to that, obviously you've got to pick these up. I got these off the internet. Got them from a place called Magnet Expert. Now I picked 100 up in a pack. They were something like £10 5p, I think, for 100 of them. And they'll come in 2 bags and a little plastic container. Something like £10 5p they were. I paid £2.75 postage, I think it was, or £2.70. So it's coming at just under 13 quid for 100 of them. Now, if you think about that, that's about 13p each, just under, to actually get use out of the old original magnets that you had. So it's obviously saving you a bit of money. You wouldn't want to be spending another 2, maybe 3 quid, if not more, because obviously I don't know how much they're going to be when people do start doing these, but they may well be 3, 4 quid again. They may be 2 quid, I don't know. But if you can spend 13 pence per magnet and actually get the use out of them as you do. Excuse me, I got a friend coming up there messaging me. Yeah, if you can spend 13p and basically reuse your old magnets, I think that's good value. Obviously there's a little bit of time and effort that you need to put into this, so this is where all this comes in. So what you need for this, obviously, like I said, you need these magnets. The place, they were on eBay, I think, but I'm certain if you just search Magnet Expert on Google, you'll be able to find the thing. They are 10mm by 1mm. So the diameter of these, or the width of these, is 10mm, and they're 1mm thick. So they're the ones you want. Depending on how many you got, will depend on how many you buy. Obviously, the more you buy, the cheaper it is. I've got nearly 60 there, so I just bought 100 because it's just so much easier. It works out cheaper as well. So if I've got a few lying around, it won't really hurt. So once you've got your magnets, like I said, what you are going to need is a monkey wrench. I'm certain it's a monkey wrench, but you need one of these anyway that can do a bit of gripping. You also need some blades, because that is what you're going to use. Ignore that one, that's one I've used for work, it's a bit grotty. You're going to need some of them to get the old magnets off. You may even need one of these. So you'll want the blade, but you'll want it in something like that, because some of the magnets I have are different. So as you can see, they're the original ones I got that were plastic, not matte and done like that. These are some of the newer ones. So, and you may well be thinking, what is the difference between them? Well, these ones are just stuck on, so they're very easy to get off. They're just stuck on with a sticky pad, so you can cut through that sticky pad. When you do, you can scrape the excess off, put one of these on, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. These ones, the magnets are actually glued on, so they need to be prized off, and you need to be reasonably gentle with this, because I've done a few trial ones here. Obviously I've done that one, and as you can see, a bit of trial. There's a few marks on the back of the badge, but nothing major. I've done the bass one. I've also done that one, which is one of the older ones. That is one of the older ones. I keep getting loads of messages, so I do apologise. There we go, that's one of the older ones. This is one of the newer ones, the Left Amber. Now, I don't know if it's going to be able to show, but you may well be able to see, going from top to bottom, there's a crack. Now, what I've done was got the magnet loose on one side and then just kind of ripped it off, thinking it will just come off easy. But what actually happened is it snapped the bit of plastic. So yeah, if I zoom, go in a little bit closer, you can see the crack. So it actually come out and snapped in half. I've just forced that back in and put the magnet on there. It is quite tight, but you do need to be a little bit careful with this when you do it. So let's get cracking and try and show you what we can do. I'm going to show you the old style ones if you have them. If you've got them, I'm going to try and show you what to do. So I will aim the camera down there if I can. We will get that there. Yep, we got that down there. So with these, it's just that foam bit. So what you need to do with this is grab your sharp blade. I know you might not think that's very sharp. And you need to, if I can show you, let's get it around that way, is it? You need to cut through that foam, but be careful, work your way around between the magnet and the actual badge, if you like. And you'll soon cut through these. If these are the ones you've got, you'll soon cut through them. And as you can see there, I'm cutting through it, and then you can just pull it off like that. So there's your magnet with half of the foam back in there. And there's the actual badge with the foam back in there. So you can see that. And all you do with this now, let me just do that. No doubt I'm going to get slated for my camera work. All you do now, grab a sharp blade. All right, that one's not very good. Get it nice and flush on there, and literally just scrape the excess glue off. I've actually cut into the badge there, so not very good work there, Bazza. I had no problem with the other. It's obviously too sharp, that blade. I mean, this isn't, I suppose this isn't a necessary thing. You've obviously got to get the worst of it off. How close and how clean you want the back of this medallion, I suppose, is up to you. But that's what it looks like when you first take it off. Again, you don't need to do anything with it. This is actually more like a magnet rather than a thick badge, actually. But you can scrape at it. Try not to damage your magnet or any other part of it. And if you're gentle and take a bit of time, you will get all that off. You can probably scrub it as well with a bit of a Brillo pad or something, you know, some warm water just to get rid of it. Once you get it to that stage, simply grab one of these. I'm going to leave this backing on this one just for showing you. So there you go. There's your discs. As you can see, a little bit of paper sticking out there. If I turn it round, that's the sticky side. So all you do is take that bit of paper off. You are then left with that sticky side there. What you want to do is obviously get that as central as you can and literally just put it on there Let it sit on there when I can get it off my hand. Get it as central as possible as well. And pretty much just force it and stick it down, and that's it. That is all you do with these ones. And it's all you pretty much do with the other ones, but it's a little bit more complex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that to settle on there. So there's the first one. I'm now going to show you what to do if you have these other ones, the big chunkier ones that have like it's more like a plastic badge on the front. What you need to do is try and separate the magnet from that badge. Now, these are glued on and they are quite tricky to get off, so you do have to have a little bit of patience, but I'm guessing once you get the hang of it and you get a little knack, they're going to come off nice and easy. So this is where these come in. Now what I've done is, now I'm going to open that up a little bit, is grip the magnet, open it up a bit more, like so. So as you can see, these are just gripping the magnet. The badge bit on the front isn't getting caught. Now I'm going to have to move this down as well. I know it's a long old video and you're probably thinking, bloody hell Baz, you're going on. This is where this comes in handy now, because this handle gives you a bit more grip and a bit more control over what you need to do now. So what you need to do is try and wedge this blade in between the magnet and the front of the badge. So I've got that there. Hopefully you can see, well, you probably can't see very well. And if you don't grip it tight enough, it's only going to work. So you do need to have a good grip on it. Hopefully I've got that right there. Now what I'm doing is just, well, there you are. That's come off quite easy as it happens. What I was doing was just easing this between the badge and the magnet. Clearly some badges are going to be, let me just move that up, you got my hand in the way. Some badges are going to be stuck better than others. That one, it's got to be said, that was rather easy. You can see where the glue was, but that come off quite easy. But what I would say is, if you are doing it, great if it comes off as easy as that, but if you are doing it, try and wedge that blade in just behind the magnet and between the badge and ease it round slowly. Try and go all the way round, and then hopefully it should just drop off. But that's come off nice and easy. There's no damage to the badge at all. So there we go, and that's what you're left with, and another magnet. So let's get the magnets out of the way and show you what you do now. Again, grab another one of these dots. Paper on the back side, as you can see there. Peel that off and simply place it as central as possible on there. Let's just put that down there. Yeah, it does stick quite well. As long as you get it within a couple of percent of the center, you should be fine, because there is a bit of leeway on the machine. So just stick that down, force it on, and there you go. I mean, that's showing it really easy. I could show you another one, but I don't know how much of me waffling on you want to see. But basically, all your old medallions that you had for the Perfect Draft can now be used on the Perfect Draft Pro. So what I'm going to quickly do is pause the video. I'm going to show you all the ones I've done and how they sit on the front. Yes, granted, they don't sit as well as these ones because these are domed and rounded, but they don't look bad on there. They do still look pretty decent, and it just saves you buying more of these, doesn't it? So it's cost me 13 quid to buy 100. There's probably a lot of you out there that don't even have 100 of these because there's not even 100 beers out. So it's a small expense to actually get more use out of stuff you spent good money on in the past, and it's just a case of taking your time and having a couple of simple little tools. So I'm going to pause the video, like I say, we're going to go back over there. I'm going to open the curtain, get some more light in, and show you how they all sit. So back in a tick. So here we are, I'm back. Like I say, the Kirsch is one you've just seen me do. You've seen me do that one. I've done the Bass one before. That's like the hard plastic badge. Again, the Port Bay one you've just seen me do. That come off very easy. Nice and flush. Perfect Draft, one that I've had. That's all been done in the past. Left amber, again, I've done that earlier. That's the one I actually broke, but did manage to get it back in there, the backing. Again, that's another one of the old sort of ones. They're nice and simple to do. There's the left Noel as well that I've done. So all I'm going to do is just pretty much show you all of them and show you how they sit on there. So yeah, there is movement, don't get me wrong, because they don't sit inside, but they do stick well. They're not going anywhere. Hopefully you can see that they're pretty flush. They still look good. I showed you this left one before, so there you go there. You can't see anything really sticking out as you would if you put that one on. So as you can see, that stands out quite a way. You may well not bother. You may well say, oh, well, actually, I don't mind that. I can handle that sticking out. But I think they do look better flush. So there you go. We'll go through the other ones I've done. Perfect Draft one. Again, sits nicely on there. Looks really tidy. The Bass one. Again, what I will do, well, I won't move it yet. What I'll do is I'll pause it and then show you afterwards. Left amber. Again, I'm just showing you all the same sort of thing really. But the badge sits on there nice and tidy. You know, although, yeah, it moves, it's never going to come off. It's nice and solid pretty much. Unless you sort of knock it and pull it off, it ain't going anywhere, is it? The Kirsch one. Now, the Kirsch one is only a thin magnet. Now, that sits absolutely perfect on there. What I'll do is I'll put that back on after, and I'll show you what that one looks like from the front. But again, these thicker ones, they still look good. They still sit tidy. They still look very nice. And yeah, so let's just put this Kirsch one back on. I am going to open this up now and take you off. Hopefully you can see there the Kirsch one. It does sit very nice indeed, real tidy. No chance of it doing anything, to be honest. So yeah, that's a simple way you can actually get some more use out of all your medallions. I'm going to pause it, we'll sit back down, and then I'll just finish off the video for you. So there you go. I would say a short video, but it's quite a long video. There's a way you can actually get use out of your old medallions that you've got for the Perfect Draft. They still can be used on the Perfect Draft Pro. Granted, they're maybe not going to look as good as these, you know, when they maybe officially get released and they're all set to fit perfectly. They maybe won't look as good as them, but they look perfectly respectable. They sit nicely. It can be done, and it can be done at in a cost efficient way, if you like. You know, so there you go. If you do want to keep all your magnets, that's one way of doing it. Remember, set of them, some blades, and preferably one of them, depending on which magnets you got. Take your time, be careful. Maybe if you have a couple of the medallions that you don't really use anymore, maybe trial on them. Like I say, don't rush at it. Once you get that magnet off, it is absolutely piece of cake. So yeah, hopefully you found it interesting. And by the way, when it comes to the end of it, you can maybe clean up all these magnets and you've got a load of spare magnets. So yeah, so it's not a complete loss. That's it, like I say. Hope you found the video interesting. Hopefully you'll have a go at it and see what you can do. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again soon on another beer review. Cheers.